Hello and good morning. I like living dangerously apparently because I decided with 15 seconds left on the countdown, I was going to click the button to apply this update for VS Code. So seems fine. All right. Happy Sunday. Got my coffee. Got my editor. Got my GitHub. What did we do last time? I seem to recall a lot of focus around working on the Dockerfile, consolidating into one Dockerfile. I did have to go back and make some fixes, but overall, it seemed to work pretty well. I did, I think I mentioned on stream something that then I dug into a little bit more. So maybe we'll take a brief look at that. So we made this Dockerfile. Thanks again to Brainless Society who supplied the original version of this that I have been working from. So we kind of rearranged things a little bit though to essentially declare our base images. So we have runtime base, and then that includes doing an apt-get update and upgrade and some basic packages that all of the images need apparently. And then we have from runtime base as runtime. So then we do a little bit more. This, I wonder if this isn't, wait, from runtime base. So if we're doing this, so I think I move this, oops, move this up. I don't know that we need this here anymore. Interesting. So we're using runtime base somewhere else, right? I think we're, for the lambdas, but the lambdas don't need the user account. I think what I intended to do was to do something like take this and do this. That's, I think, what I intended to do, but it doesn't really matter. The idea being that anything that uses this runtime stage as its base it will need to do these steps if it wants to clean up. Whereas anything that's using just runtime base doesn't have to do that additional cleanup. So like the lambdas don't, because they're not installing any extra dependencies, generally speaking. Okay, anyway, and then the thing that I talked about and then dug into a little bit more, I wanted a way to kind of kick off a build that built all of those images from a single Dockerfile. And so this thing can be, this file can be used with this docker buildx bake command. And if you have in your project dockerbake.hcl, which I don't have any kind of formatting for, so it is no syntax highlighting here, but basically this just says, hey, this is the target and here's how you build it, and they all use the same Dockerfile. And so it will build all of these images and can even, assuming I'm authenticated, can even push to these repositories in ECR. So I'm pretty sure I did that after the stream. I didn't do that on stream. If I did, well, I forgot. I forget a lot of things. But today, what are we doing? So I also working on kind of fixing some rough edges. Oh yeah, there was one other issue with the Dockerfile, which is mixing up our use of the CMD and entry point. And so we had one of our jobs that was supposed to take, you were supposed to be able to run the Docker image, and it would automatically run the program, and then any arguments you passed would be passed as arguments. And so we were using the wrong, I think we were using CMD when we should have been using entry point, or the other way around. Let's see. So this was for the upload video. Yeah, so we needed to be using entry point so that it would, when you run the image and you pass additional arguments, it runs Bootstrap and then passes in those arguments. So we got that fixed the other day, 2 days ago, as part of me kind of troubleshooting and getting the back end to work so that it will actually upload a video when run through AWS Batch, right? So we are so close to actually being able to upload through the app. We have a few more steps to do. So far I have run the Rust program locally and had it upload to YouTube, and then I've been able to directly invoke the bash function and have it upload to YouTube a video. I guess I've not run the step. Have I not run the step function? Let's check that out. So we have this YouTube uploader step function. Yeah, I have not run it yet. So this is the thing that is going to be responsible for doing the for coordinating the upload, and we are going to want to run this. Yeah, so let's make a list of the things we need to do. So in the front end, I think there might still be an upload button. Yeah, we have this. Let's go full screen here. We have a upload episode to YouTube button component, very, very descriptive. Hold on. I wish there was a, like, I can hit Control-Shift-F to open the search. Is there a key combination to hide the sidebar? What is this area actually called? I don't think it's the activity bar. Can I do view : clear output, close all editors? Just a brief tangent. Close primary sidebar. Okay. Cool. Toggle primary sidebar visibility. Control B. Okay, Control B. All right, cool. Anyway, so Control P. Oh no, actually I do. I do want to be here. Episode to YouTube button. I'm assuming because there is like a. Oh, I can search for symbol. That just brings me here though. Is there a yeah, colon to go to line, @ to go to symbol. It'd be cool if there was like a thing to go to references. I mean, granted, F12 does that. Anyway, okay, so in the episode list view, there is a bulk action to upload episode. episodes to YouTube. At least that's the intent. Yeah, you can select multiple episodes. So that's there. And what does that do? It does some checks to see that there's a render URI. It does some data mapping. And then when we click handle upload, okay, so this does promise all episodes, filtered map. Okay, so this is essentially calling upload episode to YouTube for each thing. I don't know that we want to do that. I think we might want to have a single method. Of course, we can't go to there from there. If I search for here, oh, it doesn't exist anymore. I think I removed it. This method. Okay. So I think that gives me enough to know where to start. I had some previous notes here about what we needed to do as well. Okay, so let's divide this into like front end and back end, because there's things on both sides that we need to do, and most of these steps I think down here are for the back end. I think we need to define an API, create a new API endpoint for queuing episode upload, supporting multiple episodes. Like the UI, it is specifically set up to support that, and I think we want to support doing that. That is like the whole point of kind of the how involved the step function is here, is that we want to have something that can handle we have a queue, a backlog of things to upload to YouTube. It's actually very fast. I was surprised from like AWS how fast it was for the upload. I feel like I remember it being slower, but that was maybe just my network. So anyway, going back to here, we want to we could just make an API endpoint that took a single episode ID and go that way. And then the front end could call that multiple times. Oh, why does it matter? I think probably it mostly doesn't. Technically, making a single request with a single list of IDs is going to be more compact, more efficient in terms of just like bytes being sent back and forth. In the grand scheme of things, I don't think that's going to matter too much. It will make the backend simpler if we just take a single ID. Then we don't have to loop over IDs. Or do things in parallel, or do a batch update. We can just process one thing. And the front end is already written to make multiple API calls. So yeah, let's just do single. And then we have some things that we are expecting that they need to do on the back end as part of that API. So, for now, we're going to set the user ID on the episode record as part of this operation, because we have a lot of data that well, none of it has a user ID because it's not really, the data, the way we're doing things is not set up for like multiple users in the system. But we're saying here we're going to use the user ID from the episode record. We do use the user ID in the YouTube uploader because we need to find the active OAuth credential to talk to the YouTube API, and that's stored based on the user ID. So we need that user ID, and the easiest way to get it was to get it from the episode record, since we're getting the episode record anyway in the upload process. So we need to set that somewhere, so we're going to do it here. There are other fields to indicate that we want to upload the episode. So essentially the fields that the step function uses to look for episodes that are ready to be uploaded. What are those fields? Let's see. So we want to look at, we could probably look at types.rs, and we could look at the episode struct. So there's upload status. I think that's what we're after. We can also go look at the step function for the place where we are querying for episodes to upload. And our only condition here is that upload status is ready to upload. So we can be more specific here. Set upload status equals ready to upload. That will mean that when the step function runs, it will find that record and say, oh, this is an episode that needs to be uploaded. If not already running is the other condition that I need to add here, right? So when we're running the step function, it's not designed to be run concurrently. So if it's already running, it shouldn't be run again. I guess I could. Let me check something really quick. So in the AWS Step Function API, there's this API operation called start execution. So that's what we're going to be calling to start the step function. And when you call it, I know that there is a parameter that you pass for the name. Oh. And you don't have to. But if you do this, it won't let you start two things with the same name. This is not going to help us, though, unfortunately, because reasons. Like, we couldn't use the episode ID. Because what if something fails? Actually, that's a interesting thought. Right, even let's say we click the button in the UI, and it, triggers the step, runs the step function. All the stuff works. The step function runs, and there's an error. We haven't even talked about or implemented how does the user know what the status of the upload is. We haven't really touched on that yet. I did add a thing on the backlog to kind of circle back to re-implementing our task status stuff. But if, regardless of that, how should that work? Like, if this process fails, it will set the upload status, the failed, and at that point, this process won't deal with it anymore, and we'll have to have some way of saying, hey, go reprocess this upload. and that will probably be by clicking the button in the UI that runs the step function. So if we use the episode ID as the name of the step function, that would potentially prevent, oops, I retriggered the same thing twice, but it would also prevent us from it would at least prevent us from restarting a step function execution. Yeah, I don't think I want to tie that to that. And I don't think I have another kind of thing I can use as a name. Fortunately, it is optional. It'll just generate a random, unique name for it. But this can be a way to kind of like do kind of at most once processing, at least within a span of 90 days within an AWS account and region. So the problem I'm trying to solve right in this moment, though, is how do we guard against the step function being run concurrently? If the only way the step function can be run is through this API endpoint, then hey, Prodfishy, hello, welcome. I think the intent, though, is that this Lambda function that is going to call and start the step function is not necessarily going to be the only way that the step function is run. I think I either have already or I was going to add a schedule for this. Maybe I haven't yet. I guess I haven't. What are we making? So there's a few different answers to that. The short version is I am in the process of hooking up the front end, which I could actually have running so we could see what it looks like. Let me tell you front end npm start. Boop. There we go. Let me log in. And let's do light mode because it's a little bit more colorful. So this is a very kind of basic CRUD app that I've been working on that is the front end for this program that I've been working on for the last year called Glowing Telegram. And it does a bunch of things, but it's really centered around the idea of taking, it's kind of meta, right? Because here I am on Twitch streaming, and the project is about taking my stream videos and turning them into episodes that I put on YouTube. So currently, I used to have a way I could click a few things here, and I could click a button to upload to YouTube. And that doesn't do anything anymore because I've been kind of in the process of a rewrite, moving things to AWS. And so that functionality was ripped out, and the last couple of streams, we've been re-implementing kind of the back end of uploading videos to YouTube via their API. And so now it's time to hook up the front end to that back end process. So that is the short answer. Let's see if the command works. There we go. Glowing Telegram is the name. Funsies, yeah. Glowing Telegram is the name of the project overall, and I made a little intro video. But yeah, in short, that's where we're at. And maybe I'll go back to dark mode. It's a little too bright. I wish dark mode had a little bit more color. I should do something about that. But anyway, so specifically the concern I was trying to think about is like, I guess for now this is fine. Basically, I'm using a lot of AWS technologies to handle the upload process because a thing the past version of this program had a problem with was the fact that a lot of things were driven from this CRUD UI where I would click a thing and I had like a background task thing that did help in some ways, but the YouTube uploads are pretty finicky, and there was a lot of rate limiting and kind of like, oh, you need to wait potentially a long time between video uploads. Like you could upload 3 videos in a day and you would use your API quota, right? So I built this step function, which is much easier to look at in the AWS console. Like if we go into the step function studio, here we go. It's much prettier this way. Where, oh, hey, thanks for the follow.
Prod1 I just followed.
Prodfishy, thank you. So the step function here is just like, hey, let me go query our database using DynamoDB to see what's ready to be uploaded. Oh, the TAS prod F1 shy. Yeah. It doesn't know. It doesn't know leet speak. Why isn't there a TTS that knows leet speak? When is that going to be a thing? And so this basically just is like, I'm using my table of episodes as kind of like a queue, where it's like, hey, grab the episodes that are ready to be uploaded and then try to upload it. And if it works, cool. If it can be retried recently, just wait a little bit of time and retry again. And if it's just a total failure, give up and move on. I'm gonna make the thing hold up. All right. And yeah, so the idea is this will run and just try to work through all the videos that are ready to be uploaded. I guess. Thinking about this. Never mind, I don't know how to make TTS bot. Me neither. I think there's 2 parts, right? One is like, how do you do text to speech? I feel like there's a lot of resources online for that. And then the bot, also things. Actually, I did make a thing that could have been a bot. I have a PR in the backend repo for make a simple Twitch chat bot. Although the idea was mainly to feed Twitch chat into Redis at the time is what I was using. And we're using Elixir to do this. And at some point I will get back to doing this. At some point. Because I think it would be cool to have like Twitch chat in the app to be able to use for AI. So what I was thinking about though is, okay, so the idea with the front end, let's go back to the front end. So if I have multiple episodes that I have ready to upload, which also this view does not have the Hero Pro. Okay, so things we need to do in the front end are at procrastinating. Yes, indeed. I definitely have some procrastination going on things. I feel like I've gotten much better at channeling that into like finding things to procrastinate that should be. Just think about it more. So in the front end, we need to show some more details on the episode list view. I'm working on a really massive, big project in like, yeah. Is it going to be a big project? And like, is there just like, is it already huge, or is it going to be huge? Yes, very big project. And it's gonna be even bigger than big, because right now it's already big. I see. Why? In what way is it big? Is it just like it does so many different things? Is it like, oh, it's just so many lines of code? Is it you know, I guess with any big thing, any kind of problem, you know, looking for ways of breaking it down. I used to take that very literally, and this is where the, oh, we need to rewrite this, oh, we need to like, oh, let's, and this became a big thing of like people at companies saying, oh, let's just take this monolith and rewrite it as microservices so that we can reason about the individual things. It doesn't really change anything, but breaking down and understanding big things into smaller things is not necessarily about rewriting them into smaller things, but just finding ways of you like being able to model, like make some diagrams. It's a social media app, full stack. I'm working on it by yourself. It's like as chat, leaderboard, in-app currency, a lot of big things. Sure. But does the chat leaderboard, is that chat and leaderboard or a chat leaderboard? Maybe that's three things. But those things aren't, I mean, I'm sure you have like user accounts, but they're like there should be hopefully fairly kind of like separate things, right? I think in big apps, especially things that maybe you get handed, thinking about some past experiences myself of like, oh wow, this is like spaghetti code that everything talks to everything else, and there's no kind of separation of kind of responsibilities within things. Chats, leaderboard, in-app currency, auth, post, comments, likes, update, stories, notes, voice notes. So a big oh wow, this takes me back. I remember, so I've been coding for a long while, let's say, and that I feel like that used to be a big thing, as kind of because I was doing like this independent contractor consulting thing circa 2006, 2007. I don't know what Omelet Arcade is, but back then there was a lot of like, hey, I have this idea for this MySpace clone, this whatever clone, social media thing. It's a clone of those three apps, so it's okay. Oh, well, that is a lot of stuff. I guess one of the benefits of doing a clone is that you can, like, a lot of the hard work of making an app from scratch is figuring out how it should work, what kind of makes sense and what doesn't. And when you have other applications that are like, oh, this works this way, I think it can definitely be misleading though. Well, we don't really need to talk about those sorts of things, but that seems like a lot of work on your plate. Let's see. I guess that is not. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Let's see. So a mobile app too, though. Seems like a lot. But ultimately, all of those things, like even the apps that you're basing things off, weren't built kind of all at once. Just built in pieces. All right. So going back to this though, how are we going to make this work? Oh right. I remember the thing I was thinking about, which is that if we're calling the API for every time so like I click upload to YouTube, it calls the API 3 times. Is it going to try to run the step function 3 times? Naively, yes. Now we are going to have a check that's like, hey, is the step function already running? It's going to take a few years to get to the point you want it at. Yeah. I guess the thing is that with big projects, especially big projects that you are self-motivating, like it's one thing if you are getting paid to do something and you're just like doing it and that's deliverable, there you go. But if you are if it's like, hey, I want to build this because I want to build it, and maybe it turns into whatever the outcome you're trying to set out for, then you are going to be in a position where you probably want to be thinking about how do you break up the work in such a way that you can do something like you just said, like you're gonna release the alpha once I finish this chat feature, right? So what is the smallest thing that you can do that is going to make you feel good about the progress you're making, right? To keep you motivated to keep going. What is the thing that is going to be like, oh cool, I did this long ago when I had when I was not being paid to code things, back before that was a thing. It was definitely an issue that I had of like, I started working on a thing and it's like, yeah, this will be cool. And I was like, I couldn't motivate myself to move forward on working on it because of the fact that I didn't really know what I was trying to get out of it. I just thought, hey, this is a cool idea. Let me try this. And then I would discover, oh, there's a thing that already does this. And I was like, oh, I'm not building something unique and useful, but I'd only been programming for a year or two at that point. So that was kind of like an unreasonable expectation of like trying to do new unique things that had never been done. Like if I would have approached it from the mindset of, hey, I'm learning and I'm practicing and I want to build this for the experience, that would be a motivator. The app is for your friends, so that's another motivator. Sure. If it's for someone else, what do they want? What is the most important thing to them? Professionally, when you're building things, understanding your audience, like if it's for someone or some audience, then what do they want? Just to be able to post clips and chat. Oh, there you go. What does that mean? What is the so there's a term that gets thrown around way too much called minimum viable product, or MVP. Like, what is the smallest thing that would make them happier if you did it, right? What is the smallest thing that you could build that would could address what they need, right? And give them that, right? So instead of worrying about like, what is the perfect thing? What is the thing that, satisfies everything they could want? What is the smallest thing you could build? Can get you to the point where you just can provide something, and then, you get that sense of accomplishment, which I think, talking with other programmers and knowing myself, it's really, that feeling of making something and it works, whatever, if you set the bar low of what it needs to do, then you can reach that accomplishment faster. You build that ladder until you get to, like, maybe there's a big thing you're building, which we're describing, and it'll take a long time to get there. But if you build a easier to climb ladder to get to the big project, then it'll be easier to keep going. All right, that might be enough motivational stuff on that topic. What do I want to do here, though? Thanks, I don't know if any of what I'm saying is helpful at all, or is like not, but I hope it helps. And us chatting is giving, part of my brain time to think of like, how am I going to solve this problem? Which is, do I really? I guess I could definitely. I think maybe I do. I want to go back and say we want to queue multiple. I think that would be better. Oops, multiple episode uploads. Very, very, very helpful. All right. Oh, I said two. Very, very helpful. All right. I'm glad. So I think I want to do multiple because otherwise the backend, when it's invoked, is going to try to run the step function multiple times, like at the same time. I think... I wonder if I need to have something in between where we can throttle or deduplicate or otherwise debounce these requests, or give up on the idea of the API invoking the step function. Excuse me. I think, yeah, eventually, so the concern here, right, when I say the step function, that's the thing that's actually going to dispatch out the uploads to YouTube and handle retries and like find all the videos that need to be uploaded. So we want to kick that off when the API is called because, hey, we already know, hey, we're queuing up a bunch of uploads. Let's kick off the process if it's not already running. We do also need something to schedule the step function to run daily for now. I think probably, like, if this were to become an app that multiple people use, I would probably want to have something here in the middle, like, okay, API call updates the records, and then it maybe drops a message somewhere, and then that can do something that runs the process, or maybe at scale the process just will be run so frequently, like it will run frequently enough that it will see that there's stuff to be uploaded. It'll be interesting because I guess something I'm just thinking about now is that the quotas for the API calls, I don't know if they are per app or per user. So probably something I need to figure out before this becomes like an actual product, but we are quite a ways away from that. Right now, the audience for this app is me. And it will probably be that way until, I don't know. Till when? I don't know. I'm not worried about it too much. But I do, like, I am not specifically trying to make this app only for me. Let's put it that way, right? Where I want to enable this to be something that I could turn into like a multi-user thing. I'm just not necessarily going out of my way to do that at the moment. So let's talk about what we need to do for the front end. So show more details in the episode list view. Add data provider function to call API, and that's it. Remove promise.all. Now that only means something because I know in the front end code there's a place where we are taking the set of episodes and we are calling a function that no longer exists for each episode, and we want to make it where it's actually just calling the data provider function with the list of episode IDs. But yeah, so I think that's the list of things we need to do to actually do this, which is great. We are 50 minutes into the stream and we are ready to start coding. Which is about par for the course, I guess. So, shall we start with the front end? We are going to go over here. We're going to open a branch in Glowing Telegram front end. What is the issue number? 394, huh? Okay, and just ignore the errors. I need to figure out at some point. So I'm using Biome for kind of my linting and such, and it seems to kind of flip back and forth with like which config it uses. I think it's not really. I think monorepos or like having this is not a monorepo, but it is a workspace with multiple projects in this case is not well supported. So yeah, some inconsistent results. But anyway, what we're gonna do is what do we need to do? Well, we already know we need to go into the data store, data provider rather, and this is near to this. So I should already have. So I have a YouTube data provider. I don't think this is what I'm after. I think the thing that I had for this no longer exists. Yeah. So the data provider is essentially it's a function, really. It's there's a lot of stuff here kind of dispatching things, but at the end of the day, it looks more like this, where, it's an object. Or you could think of it like, yeah, let's just say it's an object. It has these different functions inside of it. Get list, get one, get many reference, create, update many, delete many. And each of these takes a resource name, which is just like a string, and then some set of parameters that depend on the kind of operation. So these are this is how the front end connects to the back end within a React admin front end app, where you provide a data provider that says, hey, for this kind of action that the front end might want to do, here's how you do it. In this case, what I'm doing is I have multiple data providers. I have one that's this REST data provider, and this one is essentially a wrapper that calls my backend for all the CRUD kind of operation stuff, where it's like, hey, you want to get a list of this kind of resource? Here's how you do that. If you want to get a single one, here's how you do that. And then I have kind of this function here, this helper function that I wrote that helps. But yeah, so basically all of the CRUD operations for the backend all work the same way. So I can have a single data provider where the logic is the same. So like if you need to get a list of records of a particular type, this is the logic for doing it. Then for the things I want to expose on the data provider for the front end app that aren't those things, then I can essentially use this combined data providers to dispatch out to different data providers based on the resource. So I think what I want to do, let me see what am I doing in upload episode to YouTube. So presumably I am, oh, I was just calling a function off the data provider. Interesting. I don't think I want to do that sort of thing anymore. To do that, I would have to like, do data provider dot something, upload to YouTube. I don't necessarily want to do that. That's kind of a thing that I was doing before that I don't want to. It breaks the metaphor. I could make an upload resource. What I'm trying to avoid doing is putting these things that have a very, like, that aren't, like, all of these operations work on the same set of APIs that work the same way. And we can see that these operations are supported for all of these record types. Whereas for these other data providers, they're only for this particular resource. I don't understand why this is like this. Let's put this down here. That makes more sense. STUVWXYZ. So let's see if this is really feeling like it should be a switch at this point, don't you think? Hold on. Let's you know what I should do? What's a statement? I don't know. What is a statement? Okay. I don't know what default break is for. But yeah, we can do that. Is that? I guess there were just 4 options. One, 2, 3, 4. 2. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we want to add a. I'm just gonna call it upload case here. Return. I don't. Yeah. We can't. We don't need that to do. We're about to do that. Maybe upload is not the best thing. Well, why not YouTube data provider? We could put it in YouTube data provider. Yeah, let's say that I do that instead. I kind of like that. We don't have too much going on in the YouTube data provider. We have this custom function, generate authorized URL, and we have get one. Do we have? Let's make a create. Blah blah blah. Yeah. It's not something I wanted to import. All right. So for this, we want to call an API endpoint. I guess I'll make a wrapper in this API.ts for that. Let's export async function upload episodes of YouTube. Yeah, something like this, except not at all. We did say we wanted to send a list of episode IDs, so we'll do that. And I think we'll just do promise void for now. No, we'll return back an ID, I guess. So what is the endpoint that we provide for? All right, we haven't built the endpoint yet. We have not built the endpoint yet, so we don't know what will make sense for the path for this API, right? So looking at our existing API gateway where all of the API endpoints are defined. So that's this HTTP API. We are going to, so we have /stream /crud /auth various things, AI chat render. Maybe just /upload or upload YouTube. I guess that means we don't have to change the endpoint if we want to do something else. Upload YouTube. Yeah, we definitely don't need a template URL or a template string if there's no parameters there. Authenticated fetch, yeah, that makes sense. And then we're gonna build a request body. It's gonna look like that, and we're going to expect that we're going to get let's see, how's this gonna work? Is there, we could do let's do a create many will be this operation, right? And then this is going to be resource, which is a string, but we don't need it. And then params, and params is going to be yeah, sure. And then it really likes to put a thing saying this is not implemented, but that's fine. Upload episodes to YouTube. Episodes to YouTube really is what it should be called. Yeah. And then we just need to fix this. Let's see. So argument of type ID string is not, yeah, so we need to do like map. All right. So we've not really, I mean, we've definitely made progress here, right? So now theoretically, once we, let's go ahead and kind of close this end of things here. So here, what we need to do is we need to say data provider dot create many, yeah, yeah, YouTube, and then yeah, exactly, and then we just need to await this, and that updates the front end to call an API that does not exist yet to trigger the upload process for these episodes. So yeah, is that what we need to do? Well, that's that. We did that. We want to update the episode list view as well to show more things. What do we need to show? What are we showing? What do we need to show? So right now we show order index, which is somewhat useful, I think. We show the series name and we show the title. What might we also want to show? So to know what we have available, let's look at the episode schema. So this should be the kind of the schema of what's available in the episode record. We don't need to see the ID, the description's too long. Is published might be interesting. We have a filter there. Is published, I'm changing the meaning of to mean it's actually live on YouTube and available. So I don't think that makes sense. We could show upload status and YouTube upload URL or video ID. Could be interesting to show. I think what would be more interesting is actually a Boolean that is derived from whether or not those fields are set. So we have something like a Boolean field, not for is published, but the source is YouTube video ID. And I think there's a way of doing this where we can transform the data. Let's go go back to our React admin. Oh, I have that in the tab already. Let's see. Boolean field. And then it accepts common field props. Source label, records, sortable, sort by type. Isn't there a way to make the fields transform the value? Deep field source? Sure. Field label, conditional formatting? No. Is there not a way to kind of map the value to transform it? Empty text, sort by sortable, record label, source. Hey, Brainless, hello. How's it going? I'm doing good. I have my coffee. It's almost gone though. And there it goes. Trying to do a little bit of front end tweaking before we move on to the back end. All is well, playing some Mind Over Magic. Nice. I am almost done with Satisfactory. I don't know. I'm trying to avoid knowing until we get there. So it may be one or two more. Well, it'll be one more stream at least, but it might be two or more to get through the end game of Satisfactory. And then we'll have Fridays freed up for Mind Over Magic, which is why I brought up Satisfactory. Yeah, conditional formatting is like for styling. There's not a way to change to map the. Oh, we can use function fields, which accepts a render. But then that wouldn't. You find all the best emotes, Brainless. Okay, I think maybe I'm overthinking things, which has been known to happen. I think maybe if we just say, hey, we have a Boolean field and the source is this YouTube video ID. If it's something there, it's truthy. If there's nothing there, it's falsy, and it will just work. That's possible. The other thing I need to do here, I think I need to say sortable false. Honestly, I probably need to do that with many things. So we're gonna do render URI. Like, I just want to see if these things are set, not what they actually contain, which will be more compact to just be like yes, no, and we'll also text fields. Source is upload status. These will all be like empty for just about everything. But now if we go to the front end, there we go. Upload status success. So this did not work the way I was hoping, where it would show a check mark if there was a value there. I'm pretty sure we have values there. I don't know if we can see those fields in this view either. Yeah, YouTube video ID is there. But we did not get a yes or no, unfortunately. So I think I will have to figure out how to solve that. Can I do that in the next minute before the ad break? Let's see. I guess I can make a custom field. Let's try this. I'm disappointed. Well, let's just go look at Boolean field really quick. Boolean field implementation. Value label true. Value label true icon. Loose value. Ah, this is what I'm missing. I guess I just should have looked at the docs closer. Loose value true. I have a guess as to the behavior. Oh, there we go. All right, we did it. Right. So if this has a YouTube video ID, then it's checkmark. Otherwise, it's not. So all the things that have a YouTube video, and then so like this interesting. Why does this not have a render URI but has a YouTube video? Well, I guess I must have done this manually. All right, so on that bright note of being able to check off another thing, we're going to take a break here for a couple of minutes so Twitch can run its ads, and I will return and we'll continue working on this this issue of hooking up the YouTube